Which is worse, in your opinion, gaming friends who knowingly reject your transition and hate on you, or turn out to be chasers and just objectify you every time you play together? I mean, both are transphobic. So if you have people who don't view trans women as women, that's obviously transphobia. If you have people who are weird about trans women and they're like, oh, you're the best of both worlds. Oh, one day, you know, once you look like a real girl, then I would f you. Like, that is also, like, it's also transphobic. Like, both is icky. It is very disgusting to experience that. I don't really think that, like, one is worse than the other. It's just like, I don't like this. I actually uploaded a short. Are you interested in me?
I'm not, but I have a friend who is. You were a top or a bottom? You were transgender?
I am trans, yes.
You were male to female?
I am, yes.
That is literally his type.
So he's a chaser?
No, it's just like a preference.
I got a lot of comments of people being like, oh, how is he a chaser? So obviously, I'm not talking about like the guy in the video, right? Like the guy was really nice. I don't know if there was a friend involved. It's kind of weird to like ask me, you know, to add him and send him a picture of me so he can show it to like his friend who is rich and tall and so on. Like obviously, it's kind of weird, but it's, you know, a guy trying to be a wingman, or, you know, maybe he just wants to see a picture of me. The thing that, like, people didn't understand with, like, if you have a preference for trans women, does that mean you're a chaser? So obviously, it kind of depends on who you are, right? Like a trans woman wanting to date another trans woman instead of a cis woman because they can relate. You don't want to, like, deal with, like, microaggressions, the transphobic behavior, right? Like there can be a preference like that. If a cis man looks for trans women who are more likely to be vulnerable, who struggle with their self-worth, their self-esteem, and so on, that is obviously a little bit different, right? It's more about like kind of being predatory, taking advantage of somebody. They know that they can get away with way more when it comes to taking advantage of trans women over like cis women, right? Because also financial reasons and so on. A lot of it is very manipulative, very predatory. It is not automatically saying that you are a chaser if you prefer trans women. Right? It's just like, it's very likely that a lot of cis men sexualize trans women, especially pre-op trans women, right? Like if you don't have bottom surgery as a trans woman and you have a guy seek out trans women who don't have bottom surgery, who don't want to get bottom surgery, that is kind of going into like the direction, is that a chaser? It's kind of vibe based, right? Like you kind of have to check the vibe. A lot of trans women, you know, are also just happy when like somebody is giving them like a little bit of love, which guys like this prey on. They take advantage of. There are trans women out there who are happy to just have like somebody, even if they don't view them as, you know, the same way as like cis women, to just be called she, her by them, right? To have like a little bit of support, even though it's kind of transphobic to not view trans women as women and just believe that you're entertaining our delusions or whatnot. On the other end, if you're a cis person and you want to date, you have a preference for dating cis women and you don't want to date trans women. I'm not saying that every cis person needs to date a trans person, but a lot of the reasons for why cis people don't want to date, especially cis men, straight cis men don't want to date trans women, is because society calls them gay. Maybe they have like some internalized transphobia as well, where they worry about, I don't know, dating a trans woman is gay, or like being attracted to a trans woman pre-operation is gay, or it's all about like producing offspring. So if you're in a relationship where you can't have biological children, then there's no point in going into that relationship, like things like that. But a big factor of like why, you know, cis people wanting to like date exclusively all cis people and just like completely dismissing all trans people, most likely rooted in transphobia. And people need to reevaluate like their stance. They need to do a little bit of introspective in order to understand this. I'm not saying that you're a horrible person. I'm not saying that you should be ashamed and go to prison or something, right? I'm just saying that like people need to understand why they are feeling a certain way, and the only way you can do that is if you're being, you know, a little bit challenged or like challenging yourself on your worldview, being a little bit of introspective. Trans people deserve a lot more respect and dignity. It's insane where even the safest areas, they're still large at risk of attacks. Yeah, trans women are 4 times more likely to be victims of abuse than cis women. And cis women are already like incredibly likely to be victims of abuse, right? The amount of people who take advantage of trans women, it's kind of like how so many people take advantage of like sex workers, and then it's like, well, being a sex worker is criminalized, so who do you go to? If you're a trans woman and you want to report a crime, what if you get arrested and you get put into men's prison where they sell you out to inmates? Like, that is terrifying. And if people actively seek out the most vulnerable to take advantage of them, that is predatory. Now there's like also like this aspect of like, oh, if I'm a cis person and I have a preference for like, you know, trans women, what if I approach a trans woman and she will think that I'm a chaser, and like, oh my god, this would be like so terrifying to be like perceived as a chaser. It's kind of like on the same level as like when you're in the middle of nowhere, or you're like in a street walking on a road late at night and you see a woman walking in front of you and you're constantly worried, oh, we're walking into the same direction. What if she thinks that I am going to do something evil? What if she's scared of me just walking here? Like, how can I signal to this random woman in front of me that I'm not a danger? And it's like, you gotta remove yourself from that situation a little bit. Like, you understand the problem, right? A lot of women are terrified of situations like that because it just like happens so frequently. But then you're like, how is that situation making me feel? It's like, if she's terrified, scared of that, right? Like, you can cross the street, you can find a different route or anything. So if you want to like date a trans woman as a cis person, like, you gotta understand like, why do you have like that preference? It's like, we're not the best of both worlds. We're not some experiment. We're not something exotic. You just gotta like understand that. You gotta like understand your own motives, and that gives you a little bit of clarity over your own sexuality as well, right? For me personally, before transitioning, I didn't have like any relationships. I wanted to have relationships, but not as a man, as a quote-unquote man. So I went on this journey, I started transitioning, and I'm still like figuring out like my own sexuality. I'm figuring out where I myself stand, right? I'm obviously attracted to men. I'm attracted to women as well. But I think that like my dysphoria is still limiting who I'm comfortable with like dating with. I like mass presenting people because like it kind of highlights my own femininity and it gives me kind of euphoria. And when I date femme-presenting people, I'm always like thinking, I just want to be her. And that's kind of confusing. I feel like I'm not at a point where I can be like comfortable with dating like femme-presenting people. But it's a journey, and you kind of gotta figure that out. You kind of gotta understand yourself a little bit more. And it helps to understand your reasoning behind certain things.